Hey everybody, I'm Rachel. Welcome to my channel. If you are a new viewer, thank you so much for stopping by. If you have been here before, thank you so much for coming back. You will notice that this is a totally different video than I'm used to doing. So I will talk about that at the end of the video. But anyway, so this is totally different. But if you're new and you're watching me, thank you. This is a video that I've debated making because it's very personal and it is my weight loss journey. And I am using assistance with GLP1s, specifically right now, Zepbound. So if you're thinking about using a GLP1 such as Zepbound, I think Wegovy, all those other ones, I just want to share with you what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and hopefully I can maybe help somebody else out. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my history in a few seconds. And so that'll explain to you what I'm going to talk about, what drove me to finally choose using medication. Okay, so let's go with my personal history, my weight history specifically. Pretty much most of my childhood, I was a very thin child. I was born early, and so I started off super small, stayed that way. I was on medication up until I was about 12 or 13 years old. And that medication really, I didn't eat. I never ate. I was never hungry. And so I would just pick at food. I would just pick at my dinner. And my mom never pushed me. She never, said you need to eat or anything like that. My mom was very good at establishing healthy eating habits. But when I was a senior in high school, I had put on some weight, and mom had gained a little bit of weight too. She was probably in her late 30s at the time. And so she and I went on a weight loss program, and I ate 800 calories a day. That's what the doctor had me eat. And I dropped weight. I lost about 40 pounds. And so, anyway, I kept that off for most of, the rest of high school and my early married years. I was married when I was 19. So, those early married years, I kept that weight off. But then my husband and I couldn't get pregnant. I'm just going to lay that out there right there. I am 56 years old and I've never been pregnant. And so my body just went nuts. Let me tell you, I started gaining weight. Like I was eating the same stuff and I just started gaining weight. And I couldn't figure it out. I could not figure out what was going on. I tried Weight Watchers. I'd lose 10 pounds and then stall. And that seemed to be the norm. Fast forward a little bit. We moved to Tennessee, lived in Tennessee for a while. And in 2017, it was October of 2017, I had tried Weight Watchers. I did Atkins. I did all that. I even did... it's now Optavia. I think it was Medifast back in the day. I did Nutrisystem, and I would lose like 15, 20 pounds and then stall. Really weird. And so I would exercise, everything. Nothing would work. So in 2017, it was October 2017, I decided I was going to do strict keto. And I lost 70 pounds. Now, I'm not prepared to put my numbers out there just yet, y'all. I might do that later on, but right now at this point in time, I'm not ready to give you numbers, like how much I weigh and everything. But I lost 70 pounds on keto. I dropped weight. And so but here's the thing. I'm gonna talk about this. I was premenopausal. My mom was in the hospital. She was down here in Louisiana. We were moving down. So we were moving back down to Louisiana. My mom was in the hospital and I was driving down to Louisiana every weekend and back up to Tennessee the other weekend. So that was my schedule. It seemed like every weekend I was on the road. I was either driving back to Tennessee or down here to Louisiana. And so my life was very stressful. When I would get in the car, I wasn't hungry. And so I would just kind of eat Quest protein chips and, stuff like that. And then I go to the hospital, spend all day at the hospital. There was nothing to eat there. So I just wouldn't eat. Get home, my dad would feed me. So I lost a lot of weight and I kept it off until 2020. And we know what happened in 2020. I was home a lot. And we walked, my husband and I walked, but I just gradually started putting weight back on. And I ended up gaining about 50 of that 70 pounds back. And I just really got depressed. And I would try keto again, and it didn't work. It wasn't working at all. And I would lose 10, 15 pounds and then stall. And so I decided that being fat was my lot in life. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of said, you know what? I'm just going to pause. I'm going to pause and reconsider. When I was doing keto, I started watching the Countess of Low Carb. And I loved her videos. But I noticed that it was probably around 2.5 years ago. Every now and then I'd still watch her videos. She started talking about GLP1s. And I was like, oh, you know, first of all, they're expensive. It was like $1,500 a month. Our insurance doesn't cover weight loss medications of any type, like zero, you know. And so like they wouldn't even cover my B12 shots, none of it. They covered none of it. They'll cover my high blood pressure medicine, but they won't cover for me to lose the weight so that I don't have high blood pressure anyway. And so I'm like, well, I can't afford this, but boy, that sounds like a neat thing. I would love to try it. And so I just put it in the back of my brain. You know what I'm saying? So now here I am post-menopausal, and nothing's working. At the beginning of the summer, my husband's like, hey, let's try keto again. He goes, do you mind? He says, I need to lose about 15 pounds. So I said, okay. And you know, man, they do keto for 3 weeks. They lose their 15 pounds and they're fine. But he's been struggling. He knows now. Anyway, so we started doing keto, and I was not strict. I was not strict keto like I was before, because I was like, I've tried strict keto again. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. My body's not the same. It's not going to work. And I lost like 10 pounds and stalled. And so this is when we were on vacation, and I know I'm telling a lot, but I really want to get to you why, my thought process of why I decided to do GLP-1s. So we're in San Antonio, and we were walking, and if you don't know, I have a back problem and still waiting to see the doctor about that. I have hip issues. I have all kinds of stuff going on. So I really can't exercise a lot. And some days I can barely move. And so we're in San Antonio, and we did a lot of walking, and I really felt good, but I really wanted to do the trails, but I couldn't because I know with my back, a lot of it has to do with the weight, you know, all this kind of stuff. And so I was talking to my husband, and I said, my goal is I want to come back and I want to do this trail. And I said, he's like, okay, so what are we going to do? So he was playing a game on his iPad one night while we were in San Antonio. And so I was on mine, and I was watching some YouTube videos, and the Countess came up, and she started talking about her GLP-1 journey and how she's dropped like 110 pounds on it. And I was like, man, this is something else. And so I started watching videos, and they started talking about self-pay, how you can self-pay through Lilly Direct, and it's much, much cheaper than a pharmacy or anything like that. You don't need your insurance approval. So I looked into it, and I was like, I really want to try this. Now, I didn't understand exactly how they worked. I just heard, horror stories of side effects, all this kind of stuff. But I knew that it sounded like something I wanted to try. So we were driving back, and I messaged my husband. He's sitting next to me in the car. I said to my husband, I said, hey, I want to try this. This is how much it's going to cost. Can I try it, please? Let me just try it. And he's like, yeah, go ahead. He says, we're empty nesters. We have a little bit of extra funds. Go ahead and give it a shot. So immediately I messaged my doctor. She got right back to me. Her nurse got right back to me and said, yes, we will prescribe this. Can you come Friday? And this was like Wednesday. And I'm like, yeah, I can come Friday. So I went Friday, and I forgot to write down the date, but it was 5 weeks ago tomorrow. Today's Thursday. So it'll be 5 weeks tomorrow. I went, and I talked to the nurse practitioner, and she sat down, and she's like, here's the side effects. Here's what could happen. Here's this. Do you still want to do it? I said, I want to try it. And so she said, okay. So she said, here's what I want you to do. I said, I told her, I said, I want to order it through Lilly Direct. And she said, okay, we'll do that. So she went down and she says, this is how I want you to eat. This is what I want you to eat. And I'm looking at my notes. She says you need to get between 13 to 1600 calories a day. Don't go over 1600. Now, I know for me that if I go over 1500, I can really stall. And so she said 13 to 1600 calories a day, 130 to 160 grams of protein. Now that's a lot of protein, but she did tell me, she says, count your collagen. I know a lot of people will say collagen is not a complete protein, but she said, no, if you do your scoop of collagen, count that. You know, she says, don't rely just on collagen, but I can count my collagen. She said protein shakes, Greek yogurt. She gave me a list. And I'm like, I eat a lot of this stuff except fish. I don't eat fish. So fish is like, nope, not eating that. She said, you must get 21 to 25 grams of fiber. She said, because one of the side effects is constipation. And she said, get your fiber. She says, get you some Metamucil, you know, add it. You can get the clear, you know, whatever, just whatever you need, but get 21 to 25 grams of fiber. I said, okay. So she said, she ordered the shot and it came in the following Wednesday. So my shot day is on Wednesdays. So it came in and I didn't have the pen, you know, Lilly Direct, if you self-pay and your insurance is not paying for it, you get a vial and you get a syringe. Y'all, I wouldn't even give myself fertility shots back in the day. I'm like, nope, not doing it, not doing it. So I said, okay, you know what? This could be life-saving for me. It could be life-saving for me. So I filled up the syringe and I stuck myself in the thigh and I gave myself a shot. And it wasn't bad. It was not bad at all. It wasn't bad. I was like, okay, all right, Zepbound, do your work. God, give me favor with this stuff. So anyway, the first 2 weeks, let's talk about how my body reacted to Zepbound. I have not had a problem with any kind of digestive issues. I was a little nauseous at the first two shots, like first day or two after the first 2 shots. We'll talk about weeks 1 and 2. But here's something I noticed. I didn't know what food noise was. I had no idea what food noise was until I took Zepbound. Even when I did keto, I would have a habit of, if I walked in the kitchen to throw something away, I'd grab 2 or 3 mixed nuts and I'd go sit down. Or I would, grab some even celery, just grab it. I would just grab it and eat. Just walk in the kitchen, I would just grab something, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, beef jerky, a little protein, fat bomb type thing. I would do that. That was just, if I walked in the kitchen, I would get something to eat and I'd walk out. Even if it was just to throw something in the trash or to fill up my bottle of water, I would eat something, okay? I didn't realize that was food noise. I didn't know what food noise was. There was just this constant, what am I going to eat for lunch? What am I going to eat for dinner? Do I have food to eat? And it was just, I didn't realize that my brain was just constantly thinking about food. And so I decided, when I went in there, the first day, I took it in the morning. So there was a little bit of like a few things that happened. But when I first noticed the food noise was on the Thursday. So the day after my shot, I remember I walked in the kitchen to throw something away and I walked out and my first thing was, I didn't eat anything. I didn't grab anything to eat. I didn't think about eating something. I would scan the kitchen. Y'all, this was bad. I would scan the kitchen to see if there was something to eat. You know what I'm saying? And there wasn't that. It wasn't there. It was not there. And so it was like, okay, this is new. This is new for me. Very new. And so that was the first thing that I noticed. The second thing that I noticed was that I really couldn't eat. I couldn't eat a whole lot. Like Wednesday I'm going to back up a little bit. When she gave me this thing, it was on a Friday. And so I started eating this way Friday. So I had already lost like 1 or 2 pounds when I got my shot. I am more like 1.5 pounds when I got my shot in. So I had already kind of started losing it. I had already been on keto, so low carb. So I was still kind of like, I had already lost, like when my husband and I did low carb, beginning of the summer, I had lost like 10 pounds. So, I was already kind of doing that. But like I would fix me something to eat, like I had fixed, a couple of days before, that serving size, and I couldn't finish it. Like, couldn't finish it to the point where, like, it was like, not like, oh, this is so good, I'm gonna keep eating, but to the point of I will vomit if I take another bite. I've never experienced that, y'all, ever. These were new feelings for me. I mean, I remember looking at my husband, I'm like, I can't eat anymore. I can't. And I just pushed the plate away. I said, I can't do this. And he was like, okay, well, that's new. He's like, is that the medicine? I said, I think it is. And so anyway, so the first 2 weeks was like stellar that way. Weeks 3 and 4, the food noise returned. Weeks 1 and 2, the food noise returned. My shot days on Wednesday. I want to say it returned like Tuesday, Monday, late Monday, Tuesday, and maybe I ate a little bit more those days. It was kind of like a gradual eating a little bit more, but I'm going to tell you, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I don't eat a whole lot. And Thursdays are eating out night. I think we need to change that. But anyway, and so it was really kind of, it's new. But anyway, weeks 3 to 4, food noise. I noticed it returned a lot sooner. I'm talking like Sunday. So I would have like Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, because Wednesday I give myself the shot in the morning. So by Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, I feel the effects of it. So the food noise is returning sooner, like about Sunday. So I have like Thursday, Friday, Saturday of no food noise, and then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, part day Wednesday of food noise, and not feeling full. Like I was, the last 2 weeks, my back started hurting again, and I was just like, when my back hurts, I'm stressed physically, and so I kind of started to eat a lot, and so I noticed that happening. I was like, whoop, no, back up. So I went to the doctor last Friday, and I told her all this, and she said, let's up your dose. So they upped me to the 5. I was started on new starter, which is 2.5. Some people lose all their weight on 2.5. That's all they need. They just need a little bit of help. Some people are up to like 17. So I took my 5 yesterday, and, no bad side effects. No, a lot of people, they experience nausea. I did the first week after I took my medicine. I took it on Wednesday, and I want to say Wednesday I was exhausted. And even a little bit Thursday, I was very fatigued, and fatigue is a side effect. So, but like today, I'm fine. I took my shot yesterday, 5. I'm fine. I'm good. So she upped my dose, and I weighed myself. I took my first shot of 5. So I've had my 4 shots of 2.5. I weighed myself. So my grand total for my weight loss for my first month is 5 pounds. It's not stellar. It's not like these people you go like, I lost 15 pounds. Most of them, it's because it was water weight, but I was already dieting before that. I had done keto, I had not stopped, I was still doing very low carb. When she gave me this plan she wanted me to follow, I'm like, I'm going to start now, because I'm not going to wait till Wednesday to start. I'm going to start now. So I had already lost a little bit of weight before I actually started my first shot. I'm excited with 5 pounds. They suggest anywhere from half to 2 pounds a week is a great weight loss. When I went to the doctor last Friday, I was at 3.5 pounds, but that was for 3 weeks. And so she was like, yeah, let's up you, let's up you and see what happens. So I'm down 5 pounds. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see what this month does. I'm kind of hoping I can stay on a lower dose with Lily Direct, no matter, your first month is a certain amount, and then your subsequent months are $100 more. So that's what we're doing. I am looking at some other options, but like I said, my insurance doesn't cover, so I'm just kind of like, I'm gonna pay what I'm gonna pay. So anyway, so this, the GLP1s, I don't know how other people react to them, except for the people that I watch here on YouTube. I do know for me, it's it's been nice. It's been nice not to wake up and feel like I'm starving, or that, you know, I always think about what I have to eat, you know. Oh, you know, I walk in the kitchen, let me grab something to eat while I go, you know, study or whatever like that. There's not that, you know. I am drinking 120 ounces of water. So that's kind of helping me too. But so far, the GLP-1s, I like how it affects my thought process, and the fact that it's telling me that I'm hungry, that I'm not hungry. I've never, y'all, I don't remember the last time where I can sit there and say I was full. You know, I know there are times when I'm like, oh, I'm stuffed, I ate too much. But it was like, this is like, I gotta stop. And I'm not talking like eating a lot either. I'm talking about, you know, 4 or 5 bites. And I'm like, I'm done. So anyway, so I do get my protein in, and the way that I do that is, and I'm going to probably do a what I eat in a day type of video so you can see. I start off my day with a high protein shake. I eat Greek yogurt for lunch, and it's got some things in it that I add to it to add fiber and protein to it. So I do that. So there are ways of getting your protein in without feeling you're constantly eating meat. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're not a meat eater, just your meat substitutes your protein. So there are ways of getting it in. So that's what I do. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I'm probably going to make more videos. I don't know if it'll be weekly, monthly, whatever. Just kind of updating everybody on it, on how I'm using it, on what I eat in a day, about how I feel about it. Right now, I feel great. Like I say, I'm not fatigued. I actually have energy, a little bit more energy. My husband said my face is not puffy. It has helped with my inflammation. So that's also helping with my back and stuff. And my shoulder and I just feel old, y'all. I just feel like an old lady, and I'm not old. I want to keep up with my grandkids. So anyway, so I plan on talking a little bit more about this. Probably, like I said, it'll probably be once a month, maybe once every 2 weeks. I don't know. We'll see. So that's my GLP-1 journey so far. 4 weeks down, 5 pounds gone. I am happy with that. So anyway, thank you for watching my GLP-1 video. If you're a normal subscriber, y'all, I'm not sewing as much. I know I talked about this in my last video that I'm not sewing as much. I'm in school, and this that has consumed me. I should be doing homework right now. It works on the trimester system. It's all online. And so, you know, I watch 3 hours of a video, and then I have like papers to write, books to read. And so it's like, whoo, haven't done that in a while. So that is like consuming me. And so I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. It's something I've always wanted to do. So it's really, really fun. So anyway, so thank you for putting up with my different type of video. Hopefully I'll get to show you some sewing or some stitching soon. I did get some stitching done in July. A little bit, but not a whole lot. But thank you so much for putting up with this video. If you're a regular viewer, I really appreciate it. Just wanted to share a little bit more about what's going on in my life with you guys. Don't want to lose track of y'all, and enjoy chatting with a bunch of y'all. So anyway, thank y'all so much for listening, and I will see you guys next time, Lord willing. Bye.